Okay, my name is TAFO Atik Kamchuan. I'm a lecturer from the University of Bamenda in the Performing and Visual Arts department. I doubt if, do I really need this? Okay, let's use that.
We call it.
Oh, okay, I see. I understand now. So, I'm also an artist, a filmmaker, an actor, a writer, and many other things. Let's dive into the subject matter for today. You would have realized that we've been talking AI since yesterday in terms of production and lots of other things. But I am so interested in seeing how AI generated or created cinematographic content is received by the public. We can say all what we say here, we can produce whatever we produce, but insofar as we do not know exactly what the general public thinks about what we are doing, we may be going nowhere. I don't know why. Okay. I'll just read this to you. This is from YouTubers. It's a site where YouTubers come to express themselves. And this is something that I got from a user, a content creator from YouTube. I'm all for new technologies, but it feels like there is a trend toward AI-generated content, script production, and voices literally flooding the platform with tons of low-quality content with no personality and zero risk. Those who were here yesterday, definitely you will have something to think about this statement. I use AI tools a lot in my processes, but only to help me with the boring, repetitive tasks so I can focus more on creative work. In my humble opinion, content creation should be treated like an art form and a skill that needs to be honed over countless hours instead of being poorly automated and released into the world. And then, I'm sorry I forgot to actually reference this one, but this is another speaker who says, they annoy me. I hate the AI voices and the low quality, but these channels get views, so people will keep doing them. If people didn't watch, then it couldn't happen. But they do get views, so it will continue. This is one of the things that made me interested in actually carrying out audience research into the reception of AI-created content. I would want to start by indicating that you are not going to find a lot of theoretical and academic elements in this presentation. So one of the things that I may want us to start by avoiding is some kind of monistic debate on whether YouTube content, cinematographic content is cinematographic or not. That is a debate for another time. But now, what is the contextual definition, or definition if you want, of AI? AI is considered as a technological tool for facilitating human tasks. This is generally what it is, the use of machines or combination of machines and applications to facilitate human tasks. At the level of filmmaking or cinema, we have two perspectives of AI. AI in the process, used in the process of film production, which means a lot of the things that we actually talked about yesterday, basically meaning from the element of scripting to analysis, doing storyboards and all of that. And then we now have AI-generated films, where you use AI to actually create or make films. The difference in the process of film production as against making a film. Basically, in the process, if you're talking about the production process, then you are talking about using AI as an assistant. But when you now go into the other direction of generation, you are talking about using AI to actually come out with a film. At the beginning, when the whole notion of AI started, there were a number of worries and questions that arose. And one of the questions is AI just a revolutionary tool in the film business? Is it just an assistant in the film business? Is AI just a tool to cut down costs in film production? I think we've heard a lot about this also in previous presentations. Is AI just a tool for the liberation of lazy filmmakers? And I put this in inverted commas because that's another element that is debatable. And also, is it a tool for not very creative amateurs of the seventh art? Can a film actually be made entirely using AI? Can we actually make a film just by generating everything through AI? That is a question that, because of time, we will not get into what I actually wanted us to do. I wanted us to actually interact on that particular element. Can an interesting, captivating, and realistic looking film be made using entirely AI? If so, how is cinematic content created entirely with AI different from traditional cinematic content? Is there a difference actually when we look at the two, if we put them side by side? How is such content being received and perceived by Cameroonians? This is extremely important. Reception here basically is about accepting or rejecting whatever comes your way, while perception is your individual view on whatever you have received. Will the audience's reception and perceptions be of any value to AI cinematic content creation? And this is an important element in this work. To answer some of these questions, I chose to do a survey. I used the questionnaire survey method to know how many Cameroonians are receptive to and or reject AI cinematic content. The questionnaires help also with understanding the demographics of how this AI cinematic content is received. They both is basically quantitative, but I also use qualitative methods where I do online forum data collection. The very first two statements that we read out here is from an online forum. I will also carry out focus group discussions. This is an ongoing research work, so that part will also be done. But we already have some preliminary survey results that already show a number of tendencies. How did I actually come by? I've indicated some of the elements from online fora that inspired me. But a few months back, a friend sent some content, AI created content to me. And when I watched it, I gave a number of other persons who watched, and they gave their feedback, and I gave the feedback to the person who produced it. Now let us see whether you can find something in these two. I'm going to play some 2-3 videos to you, and we'll see whether you can actually identify whether there is a change. Am I able to play that? Okay.
Evil King story started with him having a Shanatan executed over a cup of corn eaten in the wrong season. This was followed by defiance and reprisals followed, and Tabufo and his family narrowly escaped by going into exile. Make sure you watch those videos to have a better understanding of this one. Meanwhile, another challenge to Evil King's regime arose at the village frontiers. A neighboring village was waging a war of expansion, and news reached the palace that a significant portion of village land had been occupied by the attacking army.
Okay, unfortunately that was the second video. I hope you can rewind it in your minds. Let me play the first video. This is the video that was sent to me, which I sent out to a number of people.
African grassfields village of Bambili. Just over 150 years ago, in the village of Bambili, there was a tribal chief called Ifuoku who ruled over the people with the power of an absolute monarch. He was a heartless king. He was wary of anyone who posed a threat to his power. He killed many champion wrestlers. He assassinated army generals who proved great bravery in war. He did not let twins live because culture dictated that they be treated with reverence and not bow to the king if they wished. His fate...
Okay, these are just very brief snippets from these two videos. This was actually the first video that the content creator made, and then the one we watched at first was actually the second. I do not know, maybe you just take note of that. I would have loved us to interchange about that, but just take note, and then probably in the question and answer session. So the question is, this particular content you just watched now was created first. Audience response gave him some data and he then created the second one. Do you think that you find a difference in these two AI generated content? This is what we will answer as at the end. I will skip this one and then we will move to some of the thematics that I have already. I sent out already over 200 questionnaires, and then but only about 110 have been thematized so far. And from what we got from the respondents, one of the things, the difference, they were asked to say whether there is a difference between cinematic elements better represented in AI videos than in traditional cinematic productions. And these were some of the responses. They said yes, the visual elements are better in AI videos. There is visual consistency, there is intricate animations. The color palette is better represented in AI content. The composition is also better represented. The camera angles are well represented. It enhances the enhancements to various cinematic elements. There are dynamic camera movements, and there is also more realistic CGI in AI generated cinematographic content. Would you say AI created cinematic content has an authentic feel? Most of them said no, they are too artificial. As much as it brings light to the aspect of Bambili history, which I like, the pronunciation of words and names as well as the traditional setting presentations, they don't please me. No, because of course this particular element is referring to some of the things we discussed yesterday. How can AI actually be made in a way that it can serve the purposes of purely African traditional ways of telling a story? No, because originality has been tampered with. No, due to automated action, emotions of humans often remain unmatched. Can AI create content? Can AI created content serve to preserve and promote cultural values? I don't think the response is I don't think so, because some vital aspects of tradition is left out. It can bring back and narrate a story long forgotten. So this is somebody who shares the fact that it can actually preserve and promote cultural values. It can be used to document lost languages, better demonstration of lost cultural artifacts. It can teach about stories and myths and also make them accessible to anyone. So basically, does AI cinematic content have a human touch? Almost about 80% of the respondents so far analyzed say no, because it's so unrealistic and this does not really make us connect to the story with our emotions. No, because it lacks creativity, intuition, and personal experience. That is probably debatable. No, it lacks that human emotional connection. It lacks the innate human experiences that inform storytelling. Respondents' perspective. From the perspective of the respondents, they do think that a filmmaker can tell which aspects of their film. Basically, what is this perspective? We gather all these information from the audience, and from that information, filmmakers and other stakeholders can better understand how and where to gear whatever kind of film they are making in terms of AI-generated cinematographic content. And so a filmmaker can tell which aspect of their film to or not to use AI to create. This is one of the things that came out from the respondents' perspectives. The filmmaker can use AI to generate traditional cultural elements that are seemingly impossible or costly to create using traditional CGI. The filmmaker can use AI to create the type of set and environment that they desire but cannot have access to, especially in crisis situations. I guess filmmakers here, or even academics who are from the crisis region of Cameroon, understand what that is when you cannot have the possibility to shoot or the security to shoot in those areas. This AI can be very useful. So we had some preliminary findings. AI, still in the early ages, even though it's still in the early ages of its adoption, influences already certain aspects of filmmaking. In terms, especially when it comes to the production process, how you can do visual effect and animation. It has made it very, very easy for most filmmakers. Some filmmakers see AI as a tool to overcome financial and technical barriers. I think this is something since yesterday that we've been talking about. AI has brought the cost of the production of certain elements in film, has brought down that cost, and so it's accessible to a lot of filmmakers. Some see possibilities for enhanced creativity, higher production values, and broader audience reach. All of this, if you were to use AI, you will have these possibilities. However, the study also uncovers significant skepticism and hesitation. Many of the filmmakers that I talked to and interviewed and spectators expressed the concern that AI could erode the authenticity and cultural integrity of Cameroonian cinema. I want to believe, as we develop this paper further, this is also quite a debatable point. There is a fear that AI-generated content might dilute the educative and cultural propensities of Cameroonian narratives, resulting in films that cater more to global trends than to local sensibilities. So these are findings that come from the survey that was done for this work, and I do think that this could be useful to filmmakers. While at the demographic level, we realize that the much younger tech-savvy viewers are intrigued by the enhanced visual effects and innovative storytelling that AI could offer. There remains a strong attachment to the human touch in storytelling. Even though this younger demographic who are tech-savvy, they very much enjoy all the elements of visual effect and innovative storytelling styles that are brought in by AI, they still, however, have an issue with the human touch in the manner in which the stories generated by AI are told. Many respondents feel that AI-created content lacks the emotional depth and cultural resonance that they expect from Cameroonian films. This highlights a key challenge for the future of AI in the industry. How to harness the potential of AI without losing the authenticity and emotional impact that characterize cinema. And I think that this is one big element that, if we have gone through this entire presentation, we'll realize the element of human touch, human connectivity, the emotional aspect that is brought out through cinematic content that is generated entirely using AI is put to question by the audience that actually receives these content that comes to them. So I will end by saying that it is important, for me, this study is important to filmmakers and other film stakeholders in Cameroon, such that once we start getting feedback from the audience about AI, entirely AI-created content, it is going to help to make filmmakers know exactly what they should hammer on, to make filmmakers know what aspects of their productions they could use AI to enhance and which ones they should avoid. After all, if you make a film that the audience will reject, why then actually engage at all in making that film? So thank you very much.